I'm Mike James, sports editor of the LA Times, and I'm joined by Sam Farmer, our national football columnist, and we're here to talk about the playoffs, which this weekend got off to a rousing start. Sam, thanks for being here. Three visiting teams win in the wild card round. What was your takeaway from this weekend?
Well, what a spectacular weekend for the NFL. I mean, this was four terrific games. One of them wasn't as close as the others. The Chargers, surprisingly, winning at Cincinnati was the widest.
A game that you picked.
Yep, and you know, that was an interesting game because the Chargers historically, when they have to scramble to get into the playoffs, they do much better in the playoffs than when they're sitting as the bully on the block, whether they're 14-2, first round loss there, 13-3, first round loss. But when they have to scramble, as they did this weekend, or this past month rather, they tend to do some damage, and I think they'll continue to do that.
Well, let's get into the next round now. Last weekend, you were 3-1, including the pick of the Chargers, who were 7-point underdogs. Let's jump right in with first game Saturday, New Orleans at Seattle. Seattle's a fairly heavy favorite in that game.
It is a surprising favorite that it's such a wide margin. And New Orleans went there. They were run over earlier this season in Seattle. Didn't make much of a game of it. I think it'll be a much closer game. I still think Seattle comes out on top. It's such a tough place to play with the fans there. It gets incredibly loud, and that defense is playing well. But Seattle's offense is not where it was last season. This time last season, so it'll be interesting to see if it picks up.
And then the afternoon game is Indianapolis at New England. I don't think the Colts can afford to get 28 points behind in this one.
And they have a pattern of falling behind to Tom Brady in New England in a cold weather game like this would be really difficult. They've got some injuries. That's going to be tough to beat New England at Foxborough.
Sunday morning, the 49ers go to Carolina. That's a great matchup of two quarterbacks. What do you see happening there?
Yeah, that is very difficult for the 49ers to go all the way across the country and play a 10 a.m. game. They lost 10-9 to Carolina in San Francisco earlier this season. I don't like particularly, I mean, Colin Kaepernick's coming off a good game, but he has not been consistent this season, and that's a very tough Carolina defense. I think the Panthers might take out the 49ers there.
Okay. And then our final game is the Chargers at Denver. Peyton Manning, great story still.
Yeah, and Peyton Manning has a history of struggling in these playoff games. They lost in the divisional round last year. I think that my early read is that the Broncos will win this, but remember the Chargers beat the Broncos in Denver this season, and they're looking at it like we just finished our fifth round of the playoffs because they had to win 4 games in a row to get in. They won at Cincinnati, but I just think it's very tough to beat Denver twice in Denver. Very tall order for the Chargers, but they could do it.
So who you're picking?
Oh, I'm really on the fence with that one. For the fun of it, I'll pick the Chargers, and we'll see if I change my mind by the end of the week when I actually have to put in my pick for real.
Well, we'll see. Sam, thanks for being here. We'll take a look this weekend and see what happens. Some very good games coming up. You can tune in throughout the week on LATimes.com and, of course, in the paper as we go along. And we'll see how Sam does.